This video is not suitable for audiences under 13 years of age.
Play. Double kill. Triple kill. Rampage. Godlike.
Hello everyone, Mixfant Gaming here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're taking a look at some more test server action. This weekend's test server, we are looking at the new weapon. There's actually three weapons, the light, the medium, and the heavy. They are called the Scald, which is the light, the Scorcher, the medium, and the Incinerator, which is a heavy. And you can think of it as a combination of the flamethrower weapons mixed with the rockets. So if you actually look at the details here, it's what it actually says. It's a unique hybrid of flamethrowers and rocket launchers shooting projectiles of scorching flames. After a certain number of hits, enemy explodes, causing additional damage to himself and nearby targets. And they don't necessarily say how long or much of a radius you have to be for the targets in order to be able to hit by the explosion. To me, it's kind of similar to how the cryo effects work with a lockdown. You have to build up the effect a certain length of time with a certain number of hits, and then there'll be some kind of an explosion. I don't think it's a very big explosion from how I've seen on the test server, and I have my own opinions already on the weapon, but we're going to hop into a game here and just going to get a little bit of action. Then I'm going to give my brutally honest opinion at this point, because I see a lot of YouTubers hyping this up, and they really shouldn't be. Like, nothing against YouTubers, but I'll get to that in a minute. So let's hop into battle and see how we do. And here we go. Battle begins. We are on Canyon, which is not Canyon, that's Springfield, which is not the greatest in the world. Let's start with the Hawk. Let's see if we can get into... I didn't... Oh, it's domination. Okay. I was like, I didn't even pay attention. And man, oh man, are these things slow. I guess I'll just take flight here and see what we can do. Without any of the pilot skills or whatever, these things feel extremely slow. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this beacon. So these weapons, I believe it's a 500 meter range that they have. If you just look at them here when I fire them, like, don't get me wrong, they look awesome when they're fired, but I do think they are going to be extremely powerful. Now, I've seen some comparisons with other weapons, and they don't seem to be as powerful as other weapons, for instance, but that will definitely change if... Whoa, I thought I was at a 350 meters range. And of course, there's no I don't have healing on this. There's no healing drones. There's no healing pilot skills. Okay, I need to get in a range to hit him. So you do some damage. I'm going to take flight here, get a little bit more safety. That's the shell over there. There's another shell. If I can't target him, thank you very much. Triggered. Now, why are these weapons being added to the game? I have my suspicion in that it's to counter the shells, because the shells are just becoming way too much of a problem right now. There's a lot of people who have transitioned from all Hawk hangers to now all shell hangers, and I am extremely upset by what Pixonic is doing to the game. The fact now that since they've introduced the shells, it's taking tactics completely out of the game. And what I mean by that is, you see a lot of these clans that are running these shells, they don't even go for beacons anymore. They just run straight at your home spawn, get there as quickly, they make you back up, so you have to not go for beacons. You have to protect your own spawn point, and at that point you're pretty much dead. Because they all come in with jumping shells right at your spawn point. There is no tactics, there's no strategy involved. It's just brute force. Try to spawn raid the person. And that's what these clans are doing. I've seen lots of the big clans do them, and it's getting to be really really frustrating to even attempt to go up against them. So you do have to kind of leave your target a little bit. And see, I did not get to the explosion. See that little icon? It didn't get up near enough to the explosion for it to see the effect. So I wish I had some healing, but I don't. Alright, so we're just playing possum here a little bit. From my understanding, there is a little tiny bit of splash, but it's really insignificant. See, I can hit him just a little tiny bit there. Not very much. I think only 1 or 2 shots even hit with splash damage. See, he's trying to do the same thing and he's not hitting me. Okay, so there is a guy coming in over here. I'd like to see if I can get to him. I'll take flight. Try to get better angle if I can. I thought those vortex, whatever it is, were actually going to get to me. So he's last standing now. And time to kill him. Nope, I couldn't even get that kill. So anyways, it's, like I said, I really do have some strong opinions about this and the way the state of the game is. And I'll get to that here after this match. So I've been in this spot long enough, I should be able to get out of it. But it looks like the enemy team is either just dying out or just giving up. I couldn't even get a single kill. There's only 2 players left. Jeez. We've got a 4-cop already. I was trying not to get any beacons except for that one at the very start. I would like to get a kill somehow. I'm certainly not getting a lot of damage. There we go. I got a kill with the weapons. Nice. And there's a guy. Can I hit him? No. He's just over top of that lip there. Go after this guy right here. He's gonna kill me here, that's fine. There goes the explosion anyways. Alright, so let's go with the Scorpion. Oh, I won't even be able to get there in time. So that was pretty pathetic gameplay, mind you. Sorry about that, because I was trying to talk a little bit too much during the game. Only 500 some thousand, 1 kill. Yeah, it looks like on the other side, people just kind of gave up a little bit. There's only 1 person on the enemy team who even got a single kill. And, a single beacon. Everybody else just laid back. But anyways, so, my thoughts. And this is nothing against YouTubers. They're all great people, everything like that. But I see so many YouTubers right now on the test server just hyping these weapons up, saying, oh, I'm going to get me some of these, etc., etc. Now, I know there's been one YouTuber out there that I've seen who did a comparison between these and the cryos, and the cryos actually were a better weapon. He also put out our video today between these weapons and the flamethrowers, and unfortunately I haven't had a chance to watch it, so I don't know if the flamethrowers are actually stronger like the cryos are. But with that being said, if Pixonic realizes people are not going to switch to these weapons because the other ones we currently have are actually stronger, they will buff these. And my opinion is they're adding these weapons for the main purpose of trying to counter the shells, because the shells are absolutely freaking insane. They're nearly indestructible, especially if you have a whole bunch of them coming at you into your home spawn. And as I mentioned in the gameplay, the shell robots have now absolutely ruined tactical and strategic gameplay. When in a squad, all they have to do is just essentially bypass beacons completely and either beacon rush or dom and go straight to your home spawn in order to win the match. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, sure, one-on-one, if you're running cryos, you're running flames, you might be able to counter and kill a shell. But when you have basically 4 of them spawn raiding you at one point in time in your home spawn, while the other 2 in a full squad goes and gets the other 2 side beacons, It's absolutely ludicrous what they've done. I would rather right now have the Hawk meta back than the shell sonic weapon meta. But that being said, getting back to the YouTubers, and I really apologize to any YouTubers out there who happen to watch this video. You guys are all put out great content, but you also hype up these weapons. You might say that they're OP. Some do, some don't. Some just say that they want to get these weapons. They're going to be the greatest things since sliced bread. And you know what? When they're released, Pixonic will make sure they're completely overpowered. So if you imagine you have a bad time right now running, seeing those shells coming at you with sonic weapons. Well, yeah, sure, you can put these on. You say, well, no, now I can counter those shells because now I have 500 meters range. Well, I will guarantee you that there will be a lot of shells running these weapons. So they'll be able to counter your shells if you happen to have one, or your other bots that have a 500 meters range. They'll have the exact same thing. So don't think that you're going to be able to use these weapons to counter shells, because the players that have their shells will put them on them just to be able to be the same thing so that they can counter other shells that they go after. But the thing with a lot of the YouTubers out there, and it's been a bit of a pain point of mine, and I understand the reasoning behind it, but Pixonic gives a lot of the YouTubers stuff for free now. Because of the YouTuber Creator Program, the YouTubers are putting out content and basically giving publicity to Pixonic. And as a thank you, Pixonic is giving them the new stuff, which, I fully understand, and I would appreciate as well if I was a YouTuber. However, it then creates even more of an imbalance, because you have these players out there who are running in the top tier clans who are, I don't say all of them, but there are a lot of them who run in full squads with this stuff, and they are part of the problem. It's the full squads running this stuff, completely annihilating random players. I know a lot of them will say they try to tag up and time jump other squads, but I will tell you right now, 95% of the squads out there don't try to do that at all. So the fact that there are YouTubers out there who run in full squads, who take the robots and the weapons that Pixonic gives them for free, they don't have to worry about trying to grind the events. They don't have to worry about trying to, for some other players out there who actually spend money to get these items. They get them for free, and they basically just sit on silver and gold until they get the new stuff, and then they level it up. And they really don't have much of a need to actually put money into the game. A lot of them do. Don't get me wrong. They spend a lot of money on their own, and because they do that in terms of being able to add content to their own channels and grow their own channels. And unfortunately, what a lot of people want to see when they watch videos is they want to see the overpowered stuff. They want to see how strong something can be, because they do want to be informed that, well, if I'm going to spend my hard-earned resources on something, I want to know that when I get it to Mark II, or when I get it maxed out, it is going to be effective. I don't want to be wasting my resources on something that's not going to get me to the next tier of gameplay. But when I hear YouTubers out there are hyping these things up, all the new stuff that comes out, it makes me cringe, because Pixonic, we know, puts out overpowered stuff right from the get-go. They don't focus anything on balance. And there are lots of YouTubers out there, for instance, like Islander, who he will blatantly point out that, yes, this is strong, this is really good, but then he will point out the negatives. And he'll be brutally honest, and I really like that about YouTubers, who at least will be honest about the situation on hand. I'm not going to name names of specific YouTubers who don't do that. Everybody has their own opinion, but there are some out there who just will not speak negatively about items that are being released by Pixonic. Right now, on the surface, these weapons, for instance, are not as strong as the cryogenic weapons. And they may not be as strong as the flamethrowers. I have not watched the video that came out today about that. But I'm telling you right now, if they are not as strong as those weapons, they will be stronger than they are at the time of release, because that is what Pixonic does. And the fact that we can only test things on test server at level 8 is extremely concerning. We really should be testing this all at level Mark II, level 12. And you also have to be remember that the test server now no longer has pilot skills. They no longer have drones. So you add those things on top of the base level damage you would get at Mark II level 12, then you could, in theory, have something that's insanely powerful that will just completely disrupt gameplay even further. And Pixonic, if you ever happen to listen to any of my videos, please take a step back from all this stuff. Every single release, in my opinion, you're making the game worse. You're just adding frustration upon frustration to the player base, to the point where I see in Discord and on Facebook daily that people are just so fed up with the game, they will go in, they'll play 1 or 2 games, and then they will just stop playing for the game for the rest of the day. Do you really, as a company, want your players to stop playing because they're so frustrated? Or would you rather have something a little bit more balanced where people are actually wanting to go in and play your game? That, they might get a bad matchup, but then the next one will be a little bit more evenly matched. We all know you will end up having a bad match. Not until they eventually, and I hope, overhaul the whole squad system, because it needs a complete overhaul. But if Pixonic would stop releasing OP content right from the start, then that would be so much better for the community and be so much better for the gameplay, because you would still have diversity. How is having a hanger full of the same bot, whether it was back in the Hawk method, whether it was back in the Ares method, meta, or the Leech meta, or the Ravana meta, or the Hawk, or now the Shell meta? Why is it almost every single time that a bot is released, it creates such a meta that people have to run the same bot in the hangar 5 times? It makes no sense why a game should be so over-dominated by one single bot that players feel like they have to run 5 of them in the hangar. If Pixonic, you would actually focus on a little bit more effort in the balancing, so yeah, maybe they won't be released OP right from the start, but then you could do incremental buffs until it gets a point where it fits well into the meta, where it is balanced. It's not overpowered, it's not underpowered. People will still want the new stuff regardless, especially when you do your nerfs to the old stuff that don't need to have nerfs done to them, aka shotguns. But the balancing is what keeps diversity in place, and diversity is what keeps the game interesting. So that being said, I'm going to call it a video. I didn't really want to harp too much on the YouTubers. They're doing what they have to do. Like, I have no problems with them. It's just the message that they sometimes put out, to me, is the incorrect message. And I'm just going to be really honest. I know a lot of people might not agree with me on that, and that's perfectly fine. It's my own personal opinion. I'm not saying that any of the YouTubers are bad. None of them, from my experience, are bad. And all of them do truly and genuinely care about this game and care about the community. I just feel that some of them, for the purposes of content, are putting out an incorrect message. They're putting out a message to gain views and subscribers and, in a lot of cases, income from their YouTube channels, but they're not necessarily wanting to go against Pixonic and voice their opinions strongly. Yeah, they might throw in little tiny things. Oh, I know, maybe Pixonic could change this, or maybe if they would focus on this just a little bit more. But then there are other YouTubers that I really respect who just will blatantly state the obvious. And Manny is one that comes to mind. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Manny's a noob," and Manny's not the greatest player, yada yada yada. No, from what I've seen in Manny's account, he can play the damn game. He does not, his own personal account, although he doesn't play it very often, he is very skilled at his little, I won't say little, but personal account. And if he doesn't believe in something, if he thinks something is wrong, he will voice it. And a lot of players will blame him for the item getting nerfed or whatnot, when really the blame is solely on Pixonic's fault. If Pixonic didn't do this crap, there wouldn't be a need to nerf stuff that people have put hard time and effort into upgrading. I just wish more YouTubers would actually be blatantly honest in their content, and maybe at some point Pixonic would get the message. I know that a lot of them say they try to influence things behind the scenes with direct messages to Pixonic, and maybe that is true. But if you're going to message Pixonic in the back, behind the scenes, well, maybe you can you can message Pixonic right directly in your videos as well. They're called influencers for a reason, although I know they don't really have too much influence on the game, but I know some of them actually do try, and I have mad respect and props to those who do. So with that being said, I am going to call it a video now. It is getting over 20 minutes, which is a hell of a lot longer than I intended. So if you haven't liked this content, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well, give it a thumbs down. It doesn't matter. It's just my own personal opinion. And until next time, cause some mayhem on the field for me.